Welcome to Building Resilience, a podcast by Hatch for insights around risk management for sound business practices. I'm Joelle Pang.
And I'm Marat Sayed.
Your hosts for today's episode.
In today's episode, we have Gustavo Gilberti with us. Gustavo is a risk specialist and process consultant in our advisory team here at Hatch, with process engineering background of over 10 years of experience in the design, implementation, operational support of mineral processing and metallurgical plants. Gustavo has been a key member of the team delivering catastrophic risk management engagements globally. Welcome, Gustavo.
Thank you, Mert. Thank you, Joel. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. Our first question for you today is, you have a technical and operational background, but you are also exposed to consultancy projects that deal with risk management from a different perspective. How do you see risk management within all these layers?
Yeah, so risk management is such a wide concept that it's sometimes it's just used incorrectly, or there's just too much disconnect between what is risk management from several different perspectives, whether they be financial or technical, environmental, social. There's risk management in all these layers. After all the risks end up translating back to economics in a corporate world, right? But for example, transforming people's lives into a crude number, it's something that is very hard to do, and sometimes not even ethical to do, right? So that is where there's such a challenge to make all of these layers of risk management communicate between themselves, and there's so many different concepts of what risk management is. It is very difficult to put these layers into an equal scale of risk appetite, and although there's so many attempts to do so. But at Hatch, we work with our clients in many different types of engagements, so we do have to deal with all of these layers, from engineering to strategical projects, from operations to maintenance. And within these layers, again, there is a different level of risk appetite that can be applied. And there's many tools that we can use to develop or to implement risk management within our projects and in our engagements. So for that reason, this concept becomes so broad that it is at least confusing, to say the least, if not just poorly applied or misunderstood by whoever is applying risk management in our engagements. But and that's where we have to work with our clients closely to make sure everybody's understanding what we're talking about when we say risk management from one of these perspectives.
Gustavo, we worked on a risk management engagement together, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. What tools are the main tools that we use for risk management during the design or in an operational environment?
Yeah, there's many tools. How much time do you got for that? But no, honestly, there's several tools that we can look at from a technical perspective, and that we have used it in this particular engagement where that we work together. So for operational risk management, for example, the typical tools that we use are hazard identification, or HAZID, or hazard analysis, HAZAN. We have hazard and operability study, which is the HAZOP. We have the layers of protection analysis, which is the LOPA, what if analysis. These are all tools that can be used on an operational environment or in a project environment, or design and engineering phase of an industrial plant. And then on the maintenance side of things, there are other tools that focus more on identifying failures or causes of failure, and that thing they can use FMEA, for instance, which is failure mode and effect analysis, and root cause analysis, and tools like the Ishikawa diagram or the fishbone. And then we have the asset integrity tools, which is more related to process safety. And it's a different concept than the maintenance and the operational tools that are normally related to a critical control-based risk management process that is usually translated in the form of bow tie analysis. So all these tools, there's many tools that it's really hard to understand where and how to apply each of these different methodologies, but they each focus on a different area within risk management. And the problem is that they don't necessarily communicate between themselves, right? So we have people using and having to implement and participate in risk management sessions to come up with risk. There are, and these sessions are typically so long, so very long, and even boring for people who's not aware of the importance of the outcomes of this session. So they end up implementing different tools and participating in sessions that can sometimes be overlapping, but they don't necessarily reach the same outcome, and that can be very, very frustrating. Also, these people that are the the technical experts that need to participate in these meetings, they normally don't have the right knowledge to understand where they need to contribute in these sessions. And again, at the end, we have some results that they don't communicate to each other. And the sad thing as well is that most of these tools, they are either designed to be responsive to a failure, or they have been developed because there was a failure in the past, or a major failure in the past. And our industry is always just trying to catch up in trying, and there's a lack of proactiveness on the risk management tools, and that's something that we definitely need to work on.
So, how do we drive positive change for risk management within engineering projects?
Yeah, so the first thing, and that's the key to risk management, to the future of risk management, is to ensure that all the meaningful results that come out of these tools, it's not lost, and that we can improve the communication between them. We can come from a HAZOP session and make sure that the risks that are identified there and that have been discussed, they can be translated back to a bow tie analysis, or they can feed into the FMEA, and that operations personnel have meaningful contributions to when the engineers are designing a new plant. And the maintenance people also get the knowledge from the engineers and operations to have a better understanding of the risks and the failures that they will be facing when in an operating environment. So I think the challenge is to create an integrated risk management approach. And I would say that we are at very baby steps at this point, but we're trying to make that positive change. And for instance, at the moment, we are just applying on one of these initiatives is we are applying some modifications to the HAZOP technique. The HAZOP technique is very well established and well used in the industry, but there's this lack of communication with the other tools that we're trying to help. Not only that, there are several other improvements that we're proposing to that, like adapting it to a more technological environment and making sure that some restrictions that were given after the pandemic of having remote sessions are overcome with this modified technique. But one of the main goals is to have results that can be used to help integrate the other tools and providing something that can be used in the future, not only for that particular project. So something that keep the knowledge being transferred from one phase to the other.
Right. So to wrap up the conversation, let's take a step back and look at things more holistically. How does all of that integrate back to risk management?
Yeah. So that's key again, and it's how to how can we challenge risk management from the several different perspectives that we have, and how can we improve the way we manage risks and stop being just so responsive to the risks. So we need to take a more proactive approach, and we need to make use of these tools that are very well established, and try to improve them. They are very well established, but that doesn't mean that they are not subject to continuous improvement. And we should be looking into those and trying to modify them to make sure that they're communicating that a risk from these different perspectives are all understood within the enterprise, and that these concepts are well well established and understood. So that's why we started with this proposition of changes to the HAZOP technique, for instance, to improve this communication. But the most important thing is that the companies need to be actively engaged in managing risk within all these layers. It's not like a Swiss cheese in this case, where we have several barriers, and if one barrier uh, is still integral or is still effective, the risk won't go through. In this case, if one layer fails of risk management, if you fail with risk management in a HAZOP or in a design phase, the chances are high that the risk will occur at some point. So all of these layers and the risk management methodologies that are applied within all of them, they need to be very, very well established and aligned. And that's the only way we can prevent a major damage to the company's reputation or to the company's financial performance and to people's lives and to the society and to the environment. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just making sure that all these layers work together and that they work.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Gustavo. It's wonderful chatting with you.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Mert, for hosting this. See you next time.
Thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and share. For more information on risk management, visit hatch.com.